Welcome everyone to our 34th episode of 5 O'Clock Tea Talk, edited by Coach Magazine Global. I'm your host Seda Tekeci, former chief editor of Coach Magazine Global, Jungian life coach and passionate advocate for meaningful personal and professional transformation. Over the last 3 years, I have had the joy of hosting some of the most inspiring voices in the coaching world, thought leaders, pioneers, and deep thinkers whose work is shaping the future of how we grow and lead. We are reaching our 30-year anniversary in 2 months, and I'm so glad to have Dr. Ela Ünler with us today. Before we begin, it's a real pleasure to introduce our guest for our today's conversation. Dr. Ela Ünler is an academic, author, and practitioner who has been exploring the emotional life of organizations for more than 26 years. She holds a PhD in organizational behavior and has built a distinguished academic career with research focusing on emotional labor, emotion expression at work, organizational justice, employee voice, leadership, motivation, and workplace well-being. Her work has been widely published in international peer-reviewed journals and influential books, including In Pursuit of Organizational Justice and her most recent and widely appreciated book, If Emotions Had a Language, which reached its second edition shortly after publication. Alongside academia, Dr. Ünler works closely with organizations as a trainer and consultant, supporting leaders and teams in areas such as self-leadership, emotional resilience, leadership in VUCA, world effective feedback, and emotion management. She is recently a senior lecturer at the University of Hertfordshire and continues to bridge research with real-world leadership practice, while also contributing to social impact through her volunteer work with non-profit organizations. Today, we are delighted to explore emotions, leadership, and the human side of work with someone who truly understands both the science and the lived experience behind them. It's a joy to welcome you, Dr. Ela Ünler. How are you today?
Okay, thank you so much for that great introduction because while I'm hearing out loudly, yeah, I feel a little bit flattered. Thank you very much for that introduction and thank you very much for having me here. It's a great
Uh,
pleasure for me to talk about emotions in any time. Yeah, thank you so
yes,
much.
yes.
Yeah,
We all need from around the world. All the people should hear this. So grab your
thank you.
teas before we
Yeah,
start our conversation. And I'm
yeah,
also lucky to know you in person. Received an emotions
yeah,
workshop from you in
yeah,
November 2025
yeah,
in London. And the
yeah,
London Book Club was the first reason we met. I'm so
yeah,
glad today with our
yeah,
conversation.
yeah,
Coach
yeah. I am
Magazine
also
Global
very happy. Yeah.
audience also will get to know you. How are you? I know it's been a very hectic day today, but we
Yes.
will start with our conversations, questions, and we will get
Yeah.
warm and settled a little bit.
Yes, after a while I feel more settled, I guess, because I'm a little bit excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's start. I hope it will help some people, yeah, around the world. I don't know how many people will reach out to us, but I hope it will inspire, maybe some contribute some people in any way. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
this
Thank you very
video
much
will
for
be
this opportunity. Yeah.
yeah, this video will be on YouTube from now on forever.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and also in the future, it will be on Spotify.
Wow.
Our audience can listen to this conversation wherever they want to, and I hope it will
Okay.
help them. Yeah.
I hope spreading emotions all around the world. It's a great opportunity for me. That's why I
Yes.
need to be very cautious and careful in picking my words. Yeah.
Yes. Let's
Okay.
start.
Let's
You
start.
s- you spent many years researching emotional labor and emotion expression at work. From your
Yeah.
perspective, what is the biggest misunderstanding leaders and professionals still have about emotions in the workplace?
Yeah, that's a great question, which has been resolved, not resolved yet fully. But I can start with something else, that because when you examine the books published up during the 1950s or until until 1950s, you can immediately understand the role of emotions as the disruptor of making process. So yes, emotions first were seen as the disruptive sources of humans, which could be, which could affect our decision-making quality in a negative way. But after 1950s, World War II has a very profound effect on this because the humanistic approach of organizational psychology and also psychology itself began, developing. And in this approach, the human side the of the individuals, their needs, their motivations were begun to be discussed. Therefore, emotions also were involved in this process. And of course, in the beginning of 20th century, the rapid development of neuroscience also affected that move and that shift. And what they started to understand that emotions are not disruptive, but they are co-playing with our, rational side, and they don't disrupt or they don't destroy anything, but they are supporting our decision making quality. And most importantly, they help and support our psychology and mental health. This is a very important and significant start of emotion work, and as well as in the organizations and also in our daily life.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I think recently, yesterday or today, I don't remember. I listened to Dr. Sinan Canan's words about these emotions. He
Yeah.
says, he's the scientist of brain.
Yeah.
So he studied, and according to the studies of brain, he says the most sticked experiences are with the emotions. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you like something, if you like your job, or you despise something, you despise your workplace, it sticks, the experience sticks with that emotion in your brain, in your
Yeah.
cognitive
Yeah. Yeah.
memory.
Yeah, because our memory has been working through emotions. We remember how we felt, but we hardly remember what happened exactly in a specific way. So this is one of the important research results the neuroscientific studies revealed. So we store all our memories through emotions. That's why when we are in a therapy and in the especially in the psychodynamic therapies, when the client started talking about their issues or talking about the things that they like to talk, the therapist always asks, how do you feel? How did you feel at that moment? Do you remember the emotions? Because emotions are linked to the event, and we recall our memories through the emotions we felt at that moment. So
Mhm,
they go back in the day, they felt and they experienced this, and they recall and remember the event through emotions, with the help of the emotions. Therefore, emotions have a very significant role in understanding my needs, my traumas, my unhealed wounds, and etc. Okay, so that is, yeah. You see, I'm getting excited, yeah, because it's very convincing.
mhm,
And this is the thing I always ask to my participants in the training deliveries, in delivery of the training programs. And I always ask, okay, now remember the last time you felt very angry, or remember the last time you felt surprise or happy or something, or joy. They remember the emotion along with the memory.
mhm,
This is a very magical and important source of human brain. We need
mhm.
to utilize and benefit from it.
Yes.
Otherwise, Otherwise, it will be a very, unnecessary thing.
Dual life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dual life. Yeah. Undiscovered life is not worth living, Socrates says. I think Socrates, right? Or Jung.
Yes.
I'm not very sure, but yeah, there's a quote like this. Undiscovered life is not worth living. Yeah. Therefore, the question that you raised to me, many leaders still struggle with their emotions because they always see emotions as a threat to their rational being and to their decision making. And they see emotions as a vulnerable position for themselves, like losing their power, losing their, yeah, their strength. But what do emotions tell us? That if you use us, like emotion speaking, if you use us, you will discover your inner strength and you will become more powerful in navigating your life, in finding the inner peace, which is very important for our well-being. I hope
Yes.
I am clear enough to explain their importance.
Yes, I also would like to support your comment with the books of Brené Brown, Dare to Lead. She
Yeah,
wrote it for
yeah,
women, but
yeah. I
I
read it.
think
Yeah,
all the people in professional life should read it. And
yeah,
the Atlas of the Heart, the Atlas of the
yeah,
Emotions,
yeah,
they both
yeah.
explains a lot of your book was also it explain most of the
Yes.
emotions. So I would like to show it now
Yes,
here. My
unfortunately
second
it is in
question.
Turkish. Yeah, it
Yeah,
is
it's
in
only
Turkish.
Turkish now, right? I hope
Yeah,
it will
yeah,
be
yeah.
translated in English maybe one day.
I hope.
So we
Yes,
are using the English version of the title. If emotions had a language in
had
your
the
latest
language.
book,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
resonates deeply with many readers. If emotions could speak in today's organizations, what do you think they would be asking of leaders right now?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier in response of your first question, when you get in touch with your emotions, you can embrace your strength, your inner strength, your inner power. Because I always use the metaphor of laundry box. Maybe you remember from my emotional workshop. I use that metaphor. Just picture a laundry box, which all the families have at least one at home, and you put the unclean you stuff inside. And what I am trying to picture, that there are all cleaned and ironed pieces at the bottom of the laundry box, okay? And in every trauma, in every unwanted thing, maybe we bring from our childhood, or maybe other traumas that we couldn't speak up or express yet. And every time every time we have had such an experience, we put one dirty stuff inside, and it is just accumulated on top of all this cleaned stuff. Okay. And what I am trying to express here is, when you start getting in touch with your emotions, okay, in every moment, in every time you felt very angry or in any heavy emotions, actually the message of your emotions are about the dirty or unclean stuff that you already put into that box. Okay, when you pick it and check it individually and in detail, what is the need here, what is the need behind of that thing. Okay, and let me get in touch, be aware of it, and try to discover what is the message for me. And when you do it one by one, you can imagine that it will be easier for you to reach out that clean stuff here at the at the end of the box. So this is the emotional maturity. You find something unsolved or unfinished or unhealed, okay? And check it and focus it and see what's happening there, because it becomes a generally it becomes a pattern, and you will start how to handle, how to cope with that heavy and intense emotions every time it surfaces. I don't know if I am clean. I don't know.
I
But
think, yeah,
yeah,
the key is what you're illustrating here is to take things, emotions, traumas, whatever it is, but one by one. Take one,
yes, yes,
look at
one
it,
by one.
reflect on it, heal
Yeah.
first, then
Mm-hmm.
check another one, find
Yeah.
another one,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
think,
yeah, just a second. Sorry for interrupting you, but there's something else, because what you told me now is sometimes some of the traumas are linked to another. Okay? When you saw one of them, which is at the very first, and it becomes like a domino
mm,
stone, like, it affects the others, and the others will be resolved easier than you did for the first one.
mhm.
Okay, because it affects the solution will affect the other ones more easier than the first one. So again, yeah, it is all about focusing on what's happening with me and why I am feeling in that way. Always asking why it happened. What is the thing now being told me? Okay, sorry for
No worries.
interrupting you.
Also, in my work, I use this term, is this illustration very similar. Once the unwashed or hidden laundry is found, then it's easy to solve the problem.
Yeah,
It's easy.
yeah.
You can put it in the washing machine, clean it, iron it, and put it away. But if you are hiding it, swept under the rug, then
Mm,
it's
mm, mm,
you just
mm.
don't know what to deal with. But look at it one by one and reflect on it. It helps us to heal from that problem, whatever
Yeah,
it is. And
yeah,
then, as
yeah,
you said, as a domino effect,
yeah,
in one time, maybe two, three other things will resolve at the same time.
yeah. And the more you bottle up, the stronger it surfaces. It's very
Mm-hmm.
important. Yeah. I'm using also another metaphor here, that, for example, back in our childhood, maybe you remember we used to play balls in the sea, right? Someone in the group always used to hide the ball, right? In the sea, inside the sea. So, and then the more you put it, the deeper you hide it. When you leave it free, it goes,
Yeah,
yeah, the more it gets and jumps higher.
yeah.
So it is just as similar with emotions. The more you bottle up, it means the more you bury it,
Mm-hmm.
it will try to surface and show itself more intense way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's an amazing illustration. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
My next question is about your emotional resilience in VUCA world. You train
Yeah.
leaders on emotional resilience and leadership in a VUCA world in times of uncertainty and
Yeah.
constant change. What inner capacities do you believe leaders must consciously cultivate to stay grounded and human?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for the question. First of all, I need to clarify something about VUCA. VUCA was first coined in 1980s by the American Army. Yeah, or for the American Army, maybe it will be better to describe it in that way. What what I mean, why they developed such an acronym? It's an acronym because each letter stands for something. Why they developed? Because during that time in 1980s, the environment was going to a very, uncertain and was bringing very much unprecedented and unexpected things. And the American army started to develop some, framework to deal with this environment, the changing environment. And then they developed a VUCA as an acronym, and each letter implies a different concept. V stands for volatility, which means the speed and turbulence of change. U means uncertainty, which humans don't like. Maybe they hate. And this is the unpredictability of, events and everything surrounding them. And C stands for complexity,
Mhm.
where the multiple interconnected factors that affect our decisions. So when we need to make a decision, there are multiple factors, and because we need criteria while making decisions, but in complex world there are so many unpredictable factors, and we cannot be 100% sure in making our decisions, so it makes us very uncomfortable. And the last one is the ambiguity, which is the lack of clarity about situations and cause and effect. Because in Newton paradigm, it used to be a cause and effect, and there are some causes
Mhm.
and effects, and the results, relieved in that way. But this world, the VUCA world, is not the same with what Newton declared. There are so many unpredictable, lack of clarity. There is no one cause and effect. There are multiple unknown, unseen, unpredictable, and complex factors. Now, okay, in a nutshell, what do we need in such a world? Okay, what humans need? Of course, they need clarity, they need certainty, but we don't have this. So, what do they expect from their leaders or decision makers? That first of all, trust. They
Mhm.
they want to trust people. Why? Trust means consistency. Consistency means predictability.
Mhm.
Therefore, it's a kind of area that we can predict something. Okay? So, if we have such a small area that we can predict, it really helps us. But
Mhm.
if we don't have anything that we can predict and control, we can become very much mental. Therefore, the new leaders must be very predictable and trustworthy. First, they need
Mhm.
to build trust between their employees. This is the first thing. The second one, the leaders must be agile. What do we
Mhm.
mean by agile? They need to be proactive, which means they need to see the future and further events, the possible further events that might
Mhm.
happen, and they need to develop and identify some solutions for that forthcoming unexpected things. And that's why they need to be very agile instead of very much bureaucratic. Inertia is a very, very problematic in this process. And the third one is emotional maturity.
Mhm.
Picture this scenario. For example, you are a leader, and there's a very big conflict between your employees and also maybe your customers or other stakeholders that you need to deal with. If you get panic and worried about it, what if it happened? So what am I going to do? What I can do, right? Okay, so if you always create some scenarios which can block your your decision-making quality or decision-making process, you will fail. Okay? So here, what is required is emotional maturity. For emotional maturity, leaders should be aware of their emotions. What do we mean by this? When they feel annoyed, when they feel some, intense emotions, the moments they feel, they need to check these moments and discover what is the common pattern I need to fix or sort, right? And when they start doing this, they can immediately list their assumptions, which are very much grounded, and some of them are stoned even. Yeah. And they can start, sorting out and discovering what are the needs behind it. And they will be very much emotional aware and emotional mature. And when they are in a very uncomfortable, difficult, and challenging situations where the other employees or the stakeholders wait a response from them, they will be easily ready to cope with these challenges without getting distracted with their emotional, wants or the
Turbulence.
turbulence or the beliefs no longer working for them.
Yeah. So the leaders' qualifications are trustworthy, agile, and emotional maturity. That brings
Yeah,
us
yeah,
to our next question, which is psychological safety.
yeah.
You,
Yeah,
you've written extensively about employee voice and
yeah.
organizational justice. What conditions truly enable people to speak up at work, and why do so many organizations still strike, do you think?
Okay, thank you for this. First of all, I need to mention about something. When and why I started working about employee voice is a very important thing, because while I was writing my book Organizational Justice, which in Pursuit of Organizational Justice, the title of our book with one of my colleagues and with my PhD students in Turkey, I came across with the concept of employee voice. Okay. I immediately started searching for employee voice and the research done in Turkey about it. And I found only 4 papers about employee voice. And it was not a very, recent and a new concept. During 2015, I guess, during that time. And then I get surprised. Why? What's happening? Why only there are 4 papers about employee voice in Turkey? Then I start thinking about it, contemplating about it, what might be the reason behind it. And then I immediately, the idea popped in my mind saying that, okay, search for the opposite, Ella, which means employee silence. And when I started searching about employee silence, plenty of research listed in Google, and I got surprised one more time. What's happening here? Why employee silence is a very well researched topic in Turkey, but why not employee voice? So it's a great introduction and a start for a academic about the topic. And me and one of my colleagues started doing research about employee voice. What do we mean by employee voice? When it is, there's a fairness in the organization. What do we mean by fairness, especially procedural or communicational fairness? I mean, people can communicate, people can build relationship without any hesitation in their mind or any, unwanted opinions or any concern with their relationship. relationships. Employee voice is a concept where employees speak up easily and they have a right to say something, okay? Right to say anything they can think about. So employee voice is that. Sorry for that very long introduction.
No, no,
You
no. It
know,
is
yeah,
important. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. And how can we increase the employee voice or the level of employee voice? And how can we make employees to speak up easily?
Mhm,
Psychological safety. What do we mean by psychological safety? They believe they will not be punished. I want to read the definition from my notes because it will be
mhm,
maybe clearer for everyone. It means
mhm,
that people believe they will not be punished, ignored, or labeled as problematic when they express their ideas, concerns, or disagreements. What do we mean by this? Just think about that you are in a meeting with your colleagues and your manager is been doing a presentation, okay, and you raised a question or maybe you want to express your opinions about the presentation, and suddenly your manager says that, oh my god, Ella, what a ridiculous question it is, or what a dumb idea you brought here. How would you feel?
I wouldn't speak up again.
Yeah, I wouldn't speak up again. And at that moment, I would feel very insulted and
Mhm,
ashamed, you know, and embarrassed in front of others. Yeah. And next time, I wouldn't be speaking. Even I believe my ideas is the best idea ever.
mhm,
So this is about psychological safety. So again, it is all about creating the environment where people feel themselves as safe to speak up,
mhm,
even it is a very funny, maybe nonsense, weird, or unnecessary comment. They would they need to feel very ready and comfortable in sharing this. Okay?
mhm,
So how can we create it? The leaders again trust. Because
mhm,
when I feel very safe in the environment where I feel comfortable and with the people who I am trust with, right?
mhm,
Where I feel connected, where I feel committed. So leaders again needs to be very trustworthy here,
mhm,
and if they feel that it's a very weird or stupid and a dumb idea, okay, they need to be more like curious about the thing the employees provided. Like, okay, can you tell me more about it? Can you
mhm,
tell me more? Okay, why do you think it's important? Without
mhm,
saying promptly, like, okay, it is not a good one. Sorry for that. Like,
mhm,
I don't want to listen it anymore because I believe that it's not going to work. It doesn't work for psychological safety. So tell me more. Tell me more about it. Have you ever investigated about this? Because we, according to our research, methodological ones, what the results say to us that when the leaders and managers approach their employees with a very curious way, instead of skeptical or instead of ignoring and neglecting way, employees feel themselves as very encouraged, and also next time they can bring a better idea and
mhm.
it will open a very comfortable space for them where they can think freely without limitations.
So this also, what I hear, the leaders, the other skill must be the ability to listen properly, like with their
Yes.
whole
Yeah. Yeah.
conscious and with ears and with the body language and everything. It's
Yeah.
just being curious about what the employee is saying. Employee, the managers or
Yeah,
lead, well, I don't want to call manager, but the leader. Leader's
yeah,
most, I think, valuable skill,
yeah.
according to what you said.
Yeah, yeah, it will have a profound impact over the employees, not only their decision making or their ideas, raised, but as well as their job satisfaction, their well-being at work, their relationship with the other colleagues, okay, their performance and their
Mm-hmm.
efficiency. Because the
Mm-hmm.
more you have hesitations in your mind, the less your efficiency will be, and the
Yes.
more problems and issues will come up at the end of the day. Therefore, they need to be very open to new ideas. But how can make it? Again, it is linked to my second answer. Is the leaders should be emotionally mature. They need to go one by one with their assumptions, is if it is working, because when we develop an assumptions back in our childhood, in our adult days it might not be working and functional, and
Mm-hmm.
it might not serve to our today's and recent daily life. Therefore, we can unlearn something,
Yeah.
or maybe we can transform our beliefs. Okay, even they are stones. We can work over all these assumptions and beliefs through emotions, because this is my job. Of course, there are some other ways and methods.
Mhm.
You are a coach, certified coach. There are so many other psychological approach, but I am very subjective and supporting emotions as the best tool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Awareness also comes to mind for a leader, for everyone, as we are the leader of our lives.
yeah,
Being aware of everything can change. Everything is changing constantly. I mean, you talked about the 80s Newton physics changed in that VUCA world.
yeah,
Therefore, they
yeah,
needed this model because the quantum physics came into the stage.
yeah, yeah,
And from the, I don't know, 60s, 70s, they said don't eat eggs. Now they say egg is very
yeah,
healthy, right?
yeah, yeah,
Or, eat butter. No, don't eat butter. Everything is changing, like
yeah,
science finding a lot of things newly, and uh, our like behaviors changed according to the events.
yeah, yeah,
As we were child, we were acting differently. As an adult, we acting differently. So we need to be
yeah,
aware of all these changes. Like
yeah,
nothing is constant and
yeah,
stoned, maybe.
yeah. Nothing is fixed. Nothing is done. This is the first rule of science. Nothing
Mhm.
is fixed, and you cannot be concrete in your sentences. Always we assume. In our papers, we always write we assume, we propose. Okay? Because
Mhm.
everything can be rejected, and some other research results might say different thing. So therefore, we need to be very resilient, not only with our behaviors and also with our thinking. Malleable. We say is malleable in our thinking.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, that brings me to my next question. Also, you often emphasize self-leadership in your trainings, and from your experience, what inner work must a leader do before they can genuinely lead others with empathy and
yeah,
integrity? And I don't want to talk about just the leaders in the organizations, but leaders as, individuals. Like we are the leaders of our own lives. So
yeah,
like the
yeah,
leader of the family, leader of a small group. It doesn't have to be a big organizational type of work, that kind of
yeah.
concept.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, self-leadership is the core element of our mental health, I guess. Because, Socrates says in the, Delphi and temple, like the beginning, know yourself. What Sufi said, know yourself. What Buddha said, know yourself. Always it starts with myself, with the self. And the more you connect with yourself, the better your life and your life satisfaction will be,
Mhm.
and your relationship with others. But unlikely to that idea, people generally go and complain about others. They blame others for the things they experience. But this is not functional for our life, because if we attribute the events and the problems that we have been facing with to others, you will never, or you can never solve them, because you are just throwing the blame to others. Okay, so how am I supposed to sort this problem? Therefore, everything starts with self awareness and self leadership, leading your life in a way, taking the responsibility over yourself instead of blaming or attributing to others.
Mhm.
Yeah. How can we start with our self leadership? Is again, I will explain it through emotions, emotional responsibility.
Mhm.
What is one of the common issue, I will call it? People say that I got angry because of you. I got sad because of that. You made me angry. You made me surprised. So, what is the thing that I am trying to emphasize here? That we are giving the responsibility to others over our emotions. So, what does it mean? They have the control over us and they can shape our emotions, but this is not fair. I don't want to I don't want to consider others as my, life shaper or life creator. Something, I have my life and I have only one chance to live that life. And the better I take my responsibility, or the more I take the responsibility of my own behaviors and actions, or of my own preferences, the better my life will be. This is
Mhm.
scientifically proven. And it can be happen through emotions. As I mentioned earlier, one by one, when you start checking your emotions and connecting with them through the needs they are trying to emphasize and express or send as a signal, and you will get ready to handle all the needs by your own, or maybe you will find the source that could satisfy that need, and with that way you will be a master of your life,
Mhm.
I
Yes.
hope.
Self-awareness and yeah, working on your own emotions as your model, as your side of the work is the key here. Yes.
Yeah, it's not
I
an easy
mean,
job. Yeah, it is not an
no.
easy job. Yeah, it is not an easy job. I've been working on my emotions since since I was 37. Yeah, so it means 13 years. It's been 13 years I've been working on my emotions to be a better life. But every day it brings a new wisdom to my
Mhm.
life. And I
Mhm.
get surprised. Oh my God. One more thing. Every day is a learning day.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna continue until the last breath, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard about the book of Broken Open by Elizabeth Lesser. There is
Mm,
an old lady there, around 90 years old, says that I still discover new things about my emotions, my life at this age, at this life. And Elizabeth Lesser, the writer of the book, says we are all the bozos on the bus. Like we are on a journey of
yeah.
this life, and we are,
Yeah. Yeah.
bozos. Like we go from here to there, and we don't know what's gonna happen
Yeah.
next, and we are just
Yeah.
trying to figure out by
Yeah.
one by one.
Yeah.
So, And maybe to our audience, we can give one little trick to, fix, not fix, but handle
Yeah,
this
yeah,
emotion thing. As you say, while talking about the emotions, like you made me angry, I feel angry. That reminded me of the you and I language. Like instead of
yeah,
you made me angry, we can say I feel angry because of this. Like
yeah,
first consider your emotions, what happened, understand yourself, then state it in an I language that doesn't eh, make other people angry, like or defensive, right?
yeah, defensive, yeah,
They don't want to involve with our emotions. They just do whatever they do, but that
yeah,
thing, that whatever they do makes us angry. So
yeah,
if we want to work it out, we can talk in an I language instead of you language, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I felt in that way. I wanted to be in that way, but it didn't happen. So I need you. I need
Hmm.
this. So that will bring a connection with the other person, and other person will find the way that they can approach to you.
Hmm.
Otherwise, if you say that I felt because of you, they will, as you already mentioned, they will immediately get offended and
Hmm.
try to defend themselves through something else which you aren't meant to say to them. Yeah. So it is not an easy job because we God bless you. We weren't
Thank you.
brought up in that way. Back in our childhood, you know, I don't
Yes.
know. You are younger than me, but maybe people who are from my generation immediately can remember that their parents always blame. You know, for example, back in my childhood life, I was coming from school crying, and I was telling my mom that, oh, mommy, one of my friends did take my toy, or he he hit me or something. The first reaction of my
What
mom,
did you do?
yeah, what did you do to make him,
First,
yeah, to make
you
him
must
hit
make
you? Yeah,
something.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. You must make something. You must make something first, and you did something, and that's why he did this. And then, because you grow up in that way, when you become an adult, you become like, you take the events like, okay, I am the guilty person here. And that self-guilty opinions and ideas
And
make you very,
make us into people pleasers in our life
yeah,
throughout
yeah, yeah,
all these ages until we
yeah.
realize this is not the way.
Yeah, never say no. Okay, yes, I can do it. Yes, of course. Please, welcome. Yeah,
Love
give
me,
it to
love
me.
me.
Love me, love me. Yeah, yeah. So this is our, yeah, story of our childhood. Yeah, but we
Yeah.
can we can shift it. We can
Mhm.
switch it to a different, to the different mode
Mhm.
by bringing emotions to our life, emotional awareness to our life, and benefit from their, with wisdom.
Yes.
Because what Sartre said actually, what he referred that emotions are the alarms, or they signals us that there's something wrong in our life.
Hmm.
Okay, when we feel something intense, or we behave and we behave in a dysfunctional way, okay, and we regret, it says that there is something wrong in your life, and emotions are trying to tell you something. And until you make that or bring that awareness into your life, they will try to surface themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, until you notice their wisdom. And
Yeah.
what is the unfortunate point here is sooner you see it and you notice, it's great. They can express themselves in a good way. Okay, not in a good way, but less harmful way.
Mm.
But if you delay noticing it, they will surface in the most strong and a very loudy way, and it might make you sick
Mm.
physically,
Yes.
physically sick, because all the emotions are bottled up in our body, yeah, which is contrary to general people opinions, because people always consider that they are here in our mind. No, they are not here, but they are buried in our body, and because we bottle up in our body, within our body, in some specific places,
Hmm.
so
Yeah,
they come up, yeah, very
when you
strong.
say that is stored in the body and makes you sick, already three books comes to my mind, like Gabor
Yeah,
Mate's When Body Says
yeah,
No,
Lance, no.
Wonder Kick, I don't
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
his
yeah,
book's
yeah.
name.
Body keeps the score.
Yeah, Body Keeps Score, and Louisa Hayes, of course.
Yeah, Louis
How?
Hay. Yeah, Alice Miller. Yeah, they
Mm-hmm,
they are,
mm-hmm,
yeah, they are all, but they are not the first people who are pronouncing the body and emotion relationship. In 17th century, Spinoza and Descartes,
mm,
had a very big argument about body and mind difference. And what Descartes told, that body and mind are separate things, and they work separately and individually in our in our life. But Spinoza, of course, resisted to that idea and wrote in his books. Actually, he didn't write the books, but his colleagues wrote the books. But what he told us, that body is the first source of our life, which will bring the attention of the emotion, which
mm-hmm.
signals and send the signs that there's something wrong here. Not
Mm-hmm.
our conscious part, or the emotional or behavioral, but the body comes first. First
Yeah.
come if first body senses it, and then it creates meanings, and emotions
Mm-hmm.
and cognitions always work together. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not giving more detailed information about it, because there are so many things I
Sure,
want to
sure.
say. Yeah, but
Yeah,
this
we
is
will talk
all.
about
Yeah.
your
Mhm.
expertise, and I'm gonna come to my last question for
Yeah.
today.
Okay.
With your rich academic background and hands-on work with organizations, how can coaches, leaders, and HR professionals better translate research on
Mm.
emotions and behavior into everyday workplace practices?
Yeah. One of the biggest challenge here is turning the knowledge, the academic knowledge, into a practical one for our daily life. This is the biggest challenge. Why? Because academics are always being trained as complex thinker. Okay,
Mhm.
there are so many parameters we need to think about while making a conclusion, or judgments and everything. Therefore, when we try to explain something, as you already experienced today with me, yeah, we start from the beginning, very beginning, yeah, and that's why we try to make it more, clear, because this is the only way for us to make it clear. But we need to make or turn this academic knowledge into more practical thing, for everyone, to fix that between academia and life issues. If we don't do it, people will distance themselves to the academy, and they will see it. Oh my God, it's very boring. Oh, this is a theory. Oh my God, this lady is going to talk about the theory, which might be a very boring. and full of extensive research and knowledge, and they will hesitate to listen you. That's why this is one of my mission actually, to make the scientific knowledge easy to understand. But to make it true or to achieve that target or that mission, first of all, we need to understand it in a very much clear way
Mhm.
and try to figure out the ways to explain for everyone in different ways.
Yeah, I can encourage our audience to take a workshop from you. As a lecturer, you made it,
Thank you.
first-hand receiver. You made this research very applicable, very understandable, very, I don't know, applied to the daily life. And we had in 1.5 hour workshop or 2 hours workshop, too many
Yeah.
emotions at the same time. And in a group, with the dynamics, it works very well. I highly encourage our audience, if they are, in London, in the UK, or are you gonna give this workshop in Turkey also?
Yeah.
Connect with Ela Ünler, inshallah. She
Thank you.
will,
Thank you very much. Yeah,
she will
very
do the
happy to
trick.
hear this. Yeah, I'm also running online, emotional
Yes,
awareness workshops and everything. Yeah, I hope I could make it clear here in English as well.
yes, yes. I
Yeah.
think our audience will take notes while listening to this
Okay, that's
conversation.
great. Yeah, that's great.
Thank you
Great to
for
hear
your
it.
time today. Is there any
Thank you.
last message you would like to add?
Uh, I love the quote of Amy Van Derzen about emotions. What emotions tell us? Use us or lose us.
Oh,
Or if you don't use us, we will use you.
oh, this is powerful. Very
Yeah.
powerful way to end it. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
I wanted to finish with a strong sentence. That's why I used it. Okay, thank you
Yeah.
very much for hosting me here. I'm great. It's a pleasure for me to be here. Thank you
Mhm.
so much for this opportunity again and again.
Thank
Okay,
you. Before
thank you.
before we end this session, I would like to encourage our audience to hit the subscribe button on our channel for more insightful sessions like this. Don't miss out on this captivating 5 o'clock tea talk. Hit the ring button and remember to subscribe. For more great content, visit www.thecoachmagazine.com and enjoy our quarterly magazines. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day. Bye.
Bye.